Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Mental Health Impact Series show. Today is season 2 and episode 21. I can't believe how far we've already come through this pandemic. We are continuing the conversation today, and today we have a very special guest with us, and we will be talking about why developing a warrior goddess mentality is key and how to rewire your brain by changing habits. Before we get started, a couple of facts here. Did you know 40% of your actions are not conscious decisions but habits? Did you know it's hard to shake off a habit since it takes an average of 66 days before a new habit takes root in our brain? Today, we have Shreya Patel, the one and only model turned actress, filmmaker, activist, and mental health advocate. Shreya Patel is altruism personified. Welcome, Shreya, to our show. How are you doing today?
It is so lovely to be here. I am doing well. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. How is your day so far?
It's been a beautiful day so far. I have been working and I've been at home in quarantine so far, but it's been a lovely sunny day here in Sarnia. What about you?
It's been a very good day. Can't complain. To be honest, there are a lot. You know how there's the heat wave that's going
Yes.
through Toronto. A lot of people are in a way complaining about it. So in the elevator earlier today, when I was walking my puppy and coming back up, someone asked me, "Are you okay with this?" Yes,
Yes.
we have cold for the winter is for 8 months in a year. I can take this. I'm very grateful for the warmth and the heat.
I feel you on that one. Every
Yeah.
time it's hot outside, I'm like, yes, please take me. I would be at the beach if it wasn't for quarantine. I don't care about the heat. I only get it for how many months? Like 4 months? Not even. It's not been a very warm summer this year, I heard.
Yeah. I think it started quite late. But Shreya, you are incredible. You are honestly the change that this world needs. And I want our audience to know more about you. So could we please start this discussion by you perhaps introducing yourself and sharing a bit about your journey?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Shreya Patel. I'm a actor, filmmaker. I used to be in fashion before. And my mental health journey actually started from quite some time now as an advocate, but I want to take you back to my childhood. So I moved countries. I was born in India, I grew up in Middle East, and then I came to Canada at the age of 11. And I was bullied for how I looked like because I come from a very small town called Sarnia, which is mostly all Caucasian people. And it was so bad that I used to sit behind a school wall and pray for friends every day because I didn't have any.
Mhm.
And I can tell you during that time, now that I'm older, I had anxiety, but I didn't know. I had no idea. And then growing up, I was okay, I didn't understand what was happening with me. When I was modeling full time, I remember having my first proper panic and anxiety attack a day before Fashion Week. And I didn't know what was happening to me. So I started Googling things like fish out of the water, can't breathe, because I couldn't even name that it was anxiety. I couldn't even, like, for me to have anxiety, I was like, oh my God, I can't have that. What does that mean? Like, that's not me. So I started Googling all of that things. And then I was modeling in India, and then I came back to Canada. And during like just a few years ago, I went through 3 gun shootings, public gun shootings. So I don't know how I survived the first one, to be honest. It is the universe taking care of me. I have no idea. And before that, I was attacked on the streets. So it happened in all of this happened in less than 6 months. And very honestly, it wasn't just anxiety now, it was also PTSD
Yeah.
because I couldn't sleep for months. I locked myself in a room. I was very lost. I lived by myself in Toronto. I did not know who to talk to. And even when I tried to talk to someone, they wouldn't understand. And my family has been a very important part of my life. So they were like, okay, what's anxiety? Okay, we're trying to learn, but they did not understand PTSD. They had no idea how to. cater towards someone who's dealing with PTSD, because I came home after a while, and I was dealing with a lot of internal like wreckage basically, and they were like, oh, what's going on, you're so bubbly all the time, it's just in your head, like take it out of your head. Like now I'm not trying to put them down, but they don't know how to help me, right? So then I went back to Toronto, and I would sit near the water, like I live near the water for 5 hours straight, not talk to anybody. So it was a very, very difficult journey. I was emotional eating, I gained weight, I stopped working, I quit my job, like all of this because of what was happening internally. But there was a time in my life that I was like, okay, how long am I going to sit here and be the victim of my past? You have to sit in your, sorry to say, you have to sit in your shit and then get out of it. So you have to sit in it. Yes, I sat in it. Fine. Okay. This was me sulking. It's okay because I deserve that because I went through something. But how long? And then I was like, okay, my friends are having difficulties understanding. My family's having difficulties understanding. I can't find a therapist who looks like me, who would understand my background and things like that. So how do I fix myself? And then I went on this massive journey of rewiring my brain. And I found out ways to do that. I was like, okay, well, if I'm dealing with this, this is what my brain is telling me every single day, that, okay, I went through this. Oh, I can't do this. Oh, I'm eating a lot. Oh, you should emotionally. Oh, this and that. Like you're a loser. All of these things that come. Like, no, I wasn't like this before. I have to change my habits. So I started rewiring my brain. The way I did it was, you're the 5 people you hang out with. So I don't have that at that time. So I found those 5 people, so to say, on YouTube. It sounds really weird, but I found channels that could help me. Like I started listening to inspiring people all the time. I found like self-hypnosis. I found like all these ways to apply all these things in my life. And I changed my whole entire life in basically a year. And here I am today, more stronger than ever and more happier than ever.
That's incredible, Shreya. I'm
Thank
sorry to
you.
hear about the past experiences, but the fact that you took this in control in your own hands and you're like, this is not how I'm going to play my life. I deserve better. I'm going to figure this out. And you did what it took for your own mental health.
Yeah. You
And
have to
that,
be your own best friend.
how did you find that motivation from within?
So I normally, like, I grew up in a very positive environment. That is one thing. Your upbringing is going to determine how you live your life. You can change that. I'll get to that as well. You can change your conditioning. You can learn to unlearn things in your life. But I grew up in a very positive environment. So every time, even something negative happens, I would always look at all the positives that were around me. I grew up that way. Like, a lot of people are saying, like, oh, gratitude journal. Those things are very important. Being grateful for at least 3 things every day, morning and evening. That is very important. I just grew up that way. That's what I do every single day without even someone telling me to do that.
Mhm.
So yes, I went through a lot of turmoil, and I was really beaten down, Aanchal. Like I don't know at that time how I would have come out of it, because like I gained a lot of weight. I'm eating a lot of desserts. I'm not working. I don't know where to go. I'm feeling very lost. I'm alone, all these things. And I was like, Shreya, this is not who you are. I mean, this is a part of you now, but this is not who you are. Like you have destiny within. Like you can change your destiny. This is not supposed to be your future. Yes, like deal with it. But now it's time to be resilient. You have to come out of this. And that was kind of something I have a particular moment. I was sitting near the water for a long amount of time, and my mom's like, she doesn't say anything when she sits near the water, like it's just really freaky. And I'm just staring at the water, and I don't know, something happened. I was like, Shreya, come on, gotta get up now. No one's gonna do it for you. No one, no amount of help, no amount of therapy, no amount of friends, family, nothing is gonna do it. You have to do it yourself. You have to get up. When you fall so down damn low in the bottom, all you have is to get up by yourself. No one can help you. They can guide you, they can't help you. You have to do it yourself. And it was my time to do it. I looked for ways to do it, and then I applied those ways, because a lot of people forget to execute. They read a lot of books, or they read They watch a lot of things, they get advice, but they don't execute that. I forced myself to execute it, even though it was hard every day.
Props to you, Shreya. And you are also you're an independent, you're an independent actress, you're a filmmaker. So that means that you have to initiate,
Yeah.
right? And that must have been quite a journey back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a little, it's been a journey, I can say. I'm proud of it though. Proud of the journey, but it's been a journey because I have to look for work. I have to
Yeah.
make my work. And at that time I was not creative. Like just like you have to learn not to victimize yourself. You
Mhm.
know, you're a warrior. So
Absolutely. We have a comment from the audience here. Your story gave me goosebumps.
oh, thank you.
Thank you for sharing a bit about your journey so gracefully. You are a
Thank
warrior.
you.
You are. That's so sweet. Thank you so much
So
for sharing
sweet.
that. So let's dive in, Shreya, into habit creation and forming. Could you share some strategies, perhaps, or some tips that can help people, perhaps that maybe in a similar boat, maybe independent, maybe working by themselves, have to look for their own work. Maybe they're entrepreneurs that are starting off. Having the right habits, it sets you up for long-term success
Mhm.
and fulfillment,
Yes.
right? So, any strategies that you could share with the audience today?
I have tons which are applied and experienced. So I'll share what I have been doing instead of just saying what a book might say. Like, this is something that I do. And I started doing this after I decided to change my life.
Mhm.
So, the number one thing that I did that completely changed my life was self hypnosis. There is this channel that I keep telling people about. It's called Higher Rising Meditation. It's on YouTube. She has affirmations for when you sleep and when you wake up.
Mhm.
And I don't like noise in my ears when I'm sleeping. But because everyone, all these neuroscientists used to, because I have to watch a lot of these videos to train my brain. And they said that they're like, before you go to sleep and when you wake up, if you listen to any kind of affirmations or read something nice, it will go inside your subconscious mind because it goes into your theta state. If you're a creative person, I'm sure you have ideas when you're like half asleep. You're like, oh, why do I get the best ideas when I'm half asleep? That's because you're in a theta state. And that's where your subconscious mind lies. If you change your subconscious mind, everything else will change, like unconsciously. Even for law of attraction, if you're as a conscious person wishing for, let's say, a bike, I'm wishing for a bike, it's not happening. Then you go into your subconscious mind and you put that in your 95% of your brain, automatically the 5% will happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, it'll just attract things. So I started listening to affirmations every night forcefully. I didn't care. I was like, let me see if this works because there's nothing bad that's going to happen. Forcefully in the night and in the morning. My way of waking up changed. I started sleeping better. I started waking up better. I started feeding my brain that I was worthy. I was talented. I was like, I can do anything I want. Like, I'm creative. I attract better because money's energy, it's abundance. So I started doing that. And it's said that, yes, you're right, 66 days to a year to change a complete habit. And conditioning. Conditioning is very deep. So it'll take a year, maybe a year or longer, depending on your age. Because after the age of 35, it's a little harder. That's why they say that do it. So I started doing that. That's number one, that completely altered the course of my life. Secondly, I found my purpose. And I found three things that remind me what my purpose was. And I put those three things in my calendar. And it would just pop up like multiple times in the day. Even though I'm not reading it, it's like, oh, what is this notification? Whatever. But it just pops up to remind me what I want to do. It could be like, oh, I want to be creative, I want to be passionate, I want to be impactful, I want to be like kind, like anything, that three things that you want to be remembered as, or your purpose is about. You write those three things down and it pops up. And the other thing that I do is, the first thing I learned was to make my bed. I know people say that, but even army officers do that. And I thought that was the coolest thing. I started doing that. It changed my way of, like, because it makes you feel more accomplished in a way, even if you just think that's the first thing that you do. And lastly, I wake up very early. I actually, since quarantine, I'm not gonna lie, I have not been doing that. But before quarantine, because I just flew back from India, but before that, I used to wake up quite early, like 5:30. I would meditate, I would work out, I do yoga. I would not check my phone. Do not check your phone in the morning, please. That's number one thing as well. And be your own best friend. Be your own best friend. If you don't have anyone around you, those 5 people, you can find them online and listen to what they're saying continuously. And private victories, I say this as private victories because no one's seeing what you're doing, how you're working on yourself. No one needs to, really. So these are your private victories, and it's okay to say no to going out. If you want to stay at home and read a book, do that for yourself, like self-care. And force yourself to do this, because honestly, if you want a better life, again, no one's going to do it for you. You will have to do it yourself.
That's really well said.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Shreya. You've been through quite a bit of traumatic events. And you found the strength to, you took your time. It's from everything you've shared so far. You really took your time to express what you were feeling. You found spaces where you could feel comfortable to let loose, right? To release those emotions. And then you're like, no, I'm going to find a way to help myself. And you pursued self-help strategies from there. And you've shared a couple of them, but could you touch base a little bit more on how someone can cope with trauma?
Yeah, so that's something that I can understand that very well. Trauma, see, something like PTSD or anything, even mental health should not be a comparison. Everyone has their own, even if it's little, it is important. It is not little, because everyone has different ways of dealing with trauma. For me, my anxiety, it's quite controlled now because I have learned to work on my subconscious brain. That's number one thing. Like, work on your subconscious brain. Do the hypnosis thing. Trust me. Just start with that and it'll change you. With PTSD, you know what? It comes back. I'm not gonna make it like sugarcoat and be like, oh no, you'll be strong. No, it comes for me. When I see tons of people running, even if they're kids, I still freeze. If I hear gunshots, I do like feel a little uncomfortable right away. I used to freeze before, but I'm a bit better. Those things don't go away, but there's ways to deal with it. Trauma can't define you. Actually, maybe you went through this because you're coming out of it stronger. And it's difficult when you're sitting in it to feel that way. Like, oh, what am I going to get out of this? Why did the universe put me through this? What was this? But today I can tell you that all of that happened made me stronger. And it's difficult to deal with it. When you're in it, I'm not going to lie, you're going to feel low. You're going to feel lost. You're going to feel like no one's going to believe you and things like that. But you're not alone. Yes, maybe people might not understand what you went through, but that doesn't mean people don't have similar experiences. Sharing is the biggest healing tool that I've found. Even if you can't like get guided, if you share, like I'm sharing this with you, I know your story. Like, I understand where you come from. I'm sure you understand where I'm coming from. All that. That in itself is strength.
Yeah.
Someone's telling you their story, like, listen to it with a lot of, warmth and compassion. So I feel like if you're going through trauma, it's okay to speak up. You know what? You should speak up. Go tell the world that you're dealing with this, because I guarantee you someone is going through something similar, or someone will understand you. Maybe they might not be able to help you, but you're not alone. And that's important to remember when you're going through something really dark.
That's beautifully said. Thank you. Thank you. One of the things that we wanted to talk about today was developing a warrior goddess mentality. For the audience that doesn't understand even this concept, are you able to shed a bit of light as to what is a warrior goddess mentality?
Yes, this is like the most, I love this question because I experienced this myself. So this is in 2015. I was at this like film premiere, and it was called Angry Indian Goddesses. I love that movie, by the way. And it's such a phenomenal movie about like women empowerment and all these things. And after that, when I watched the movie, it just stuck in my head. Angry Indian Goddess, like, okay, stuck in my head, whatever. So when I went through my trauma, I would sit in my shit, I would cry, all of these things. And then suddenly I would get up, I'd be like, no, if this is what Shreya is feeling, but if I was a goddess, would a goddess sabotage herself? Would a goddess like sit and cry? Would a goddess? No, she would get up and fight, because that's what warrior goddesses do. They don't sit in there. They do sit in their shit. Don't get me wrong, but how long? Like Amal Clooney wouldn't do this. I would say that to myself too, because I love Amal Clooney. I'd be like, Amal, if George Clooney did something to her, would Amal Clooney be sitting and crying? Maybe for a little bit. And then she'll be like, no, I have to go save the world. I can't do this. So that's what I mean by warrior goddess mentality. Every time you go through something, see, every single human being has a little bit of thing where it's like they victimize themselves, and it's normal. Everyone goes through it, but you have to ask yourself this question: what would your warrior goddess do in your situation? Because she will never self-sabotage her. She's a powerful woman instead of just a victim. So use that mentality and do what the warrior goddess does, and then follow that.
I love that.
I know, it helped me so much. It has helped me so much through so many things.
I absolutely love that. In a way, that's your self-talk to yourself.
Yes.
That is such an amazing strategy. I am definitely going to try that.
It's the best. It's helpful. Like a few of my friends too, they're like, now I use that. But like every time I'm sad, be like, this is not what warrior goddess would do. Get up. It works. The talk that you tell yourself is very important too. And the story that you share is very important. Because if you're telling your story in a victim mentality, it's gonna make you re-victimized. But if you're telling the same story in a warrior mentality, it's a different, you're talking about resilience more than the story itself, right? Like how you recovered.
I love that. There's so much wisdom in this conversation here, because like Shreya said, it is important for us to also take the time to sit with what we're feeling, because that is a part of that healing journey. We either express or we suppress, and then we depress, right? So it's important to take that time initially to sit with yourself and understand yourself, understand these emotions that we're experiencing, rather than distracting ourselves. Mm-hmm. And then when you're done, it's okay to question yourself and be like, what would a warrior goddess do?
Yeah, and do that.
Love that. We have a question here from the audience. Yeah. What changes would you like to see in our education systems, workplace systems, cultural systems?
That's a beautiful question. Actually, I have taken this upon myself a few years ago. I was part of this under 35 women's forum at the Ontario, Queen's Park, basically. So I represented my riding, and I brought this up to the MPPs, Ontario level only so far, about having mental health conversations in schools, starting from elementary school. I don't know what they're going to do with it, but I definitely brought it up, because if you teach children how to be expressive about their emotions, a lot of things would solve itself. Because as a child myself experiencing anxiety, I didn't know how to express that. I was feeling like I couldn't breathe. I did not like going to school, all these things. But if you teach a child how to be emotionally intelligent, imagine how that would be when they grow up. Because we are just starting to have these conversations now. Our generation is starting to have these conversations now. But I don't think our parents had that opportunity to have these conversations. They thought that it was all in your mind. A lot of them did, at least. And now they're learning well through me or whatever, and all these events that you guys are doing, that they're understanding what mental health is, and they all went through it too. So it is very important. I agree that we have to have it in our education system. Even actually, a lot of workplaces are having mental health initiatives now, which I know because I'm part of Bell Let's Talk. So through that, I have realized a lot of workplaces are having that, but schools, we're very far away from that. I really hope that a mental health initiative is formed. I actually even made a program called Reinvent, which helps young, teenagers. I made an eight-week girls empowerment program, and I took it to 2 high schools in Toronto, and we partnered up, but COVID happened. So it's on hold right now. One step at a time, I guess, right?
Yeah, I love that. You are the change the world needs, Shreya.
We are the change.
We are. I mean, we're here, Reach Out Together. We're here with you every step of the way. If there's anything that we can do to help with any of your initiatives, please don't hesitate to reach out to us, because we truly believe in collaboration and creating social impact together. It's hard to do it alone, but if we can come together, pool in our talents, we are able to make a profound impact in our communities.
Ooh, I have an idea. I will talk to you after this about
Done.
that.
I love that. All right, Shreya, we're about to come to the end of our 30-minute session today, but as always, like, this just wasn't enough. I feel like we just scratched the surface. So we would love to have you back on our show, perhaps for our next season. In the meantime, if you had a mic and the entire world was listening to you, what would you like to say to people?
Choose to be happy. Choose to be happy, because no one is going to do it for you. Get up and do it. Pursuit of happiness, number one thing. Other than that, like, if you want to be successful, it comes from contentment. Don't follow anything else. Just choose to be happy every day. And if you can, then pursue that.
Love that. All right. Shreya, do you know? Oh, I don't know if you can see this. I'm just going to turn this down. Do you see this is our logo, our company
I love
logo?
that. This thing.
Yeah, it's basically two fists. Oh, there you go. Two fists put together. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Do you know what this stands for?
No.
In American Sign Language, this means together.
I just got goosebumps.
And we use the color orange because in color healing therapy, orange brings out feelings of warmth and happiness.
That's
And
beautiful.
thank you. Our vision at Reach Out Together is to heal the world together, community by community, conversation by conversation. And I truly believe we did that here today together. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking the time to show up today, for making this happen for our audience, for educating people, for spreading awareness. You know, this is how we truly believe we are able to shift, to create shift, you know, within different cultures. So thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you for having me. It was such a pleasure.
It was such a pleasure. Where can people reach you, Shreya?
On all social media platforms, I'm at the letter M, Shreya Patel. So IMSHREYAPATEL.
Beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Anything else you'd like to leave the audience with today?
No, I think that you guys are, every single one of you has a warrior like personality in you. Just seek it. It's in you.
Love that. Thank you, Shreya. Have a lovely rest of the day. And for the audience that's still tuned in, thank you from the bottom of our heart, for still being here, encouraging these conversations, for taking the time to comment on these interviews. It means so much to us when we hear your feedback, whenever we receive any emails, any comment, anything that you tell us, hey, I want to hear about this, I want to learn about this. It is so encouraging for us. And we're looking forward to continuing this discussion. If you know someone that's looking for help, professional help, or other supports, please reach out to our support team via email at resource@reachouttogether.com. It's a completely free of cost email service program for anyone in the world. Reach out together and let us help guide you to professional help and resources. We're in this together. Thank you, everyone, and bye for now.